Hey guys, I wanted to come to you and chat with you about all that's been going on in the country, the world this year. And you know, it's really been a fascinating journey to say the very least. And as I think about all the insanity that's taken place, it's a little bit overwhelming and kind of just crazy or insane, if you will. And I just want to review a few of these things. I want to talk through it. So, you know, our year started off with Australian fires, huge fires in Australia, where, I mean, there were like cool animals that only live in Australia that were dying. It was really kind of a sad thing. Kind of all worked out, I guess. Then you follow that, we have the impeachment of the president. You know, it's only happened like 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Apparently, I don't know my history, but impeachment of the president. And then we move on after that and we see Kobe Bryant and his daughter and a whole bunch of other young children and flying in his helicopter, dying in a helicopter crash. You know, arguably one of the better, if not best, basketball players in history. And then you follow that and all of a sudden we have this pandemic called COVID. What do we do with that? We've never had a pandemic. We don't even know what to do with a pandemic. Follow that, and then of course you got to insert a little bit of levity here. You got Meghan Markle and Prince Harry stepping away from Buckingham Palace. Sad moment of silence. But, you know, in all fairness, it is a moment in history. I mean, never in history has someone done what they did. I don't know why they did. I don't really follow that stuff, but sort of newsworthy-ish. Then to follow that, probably because they left Buckingham Palace, you have the stock market just completely fall apart, like the worst drop since 1987. Huge problem going on there. Then because of COVID, we decide to postpone the Olympics. I mean, they haven't postponed the Olympics since they were running them in Greece barefoot. Postpone the Olympics? What? That's crazy. Then to follow that, because of everything going on with COVID, we have to social distance, right? We got to quarantine ourselves. We got to stay home by ourselves. As a result of, you know, poor guys like this, you have people experiencing depression and addiction and all kinds of other problems in addition to having to deal with COVID. Terrible times. People can't go see their family in nursing homes. It's just nuts. Following that, we got murder hornets. I don't even know what a murder hornet is, but there's a picture of one. Apparently they were going to kill us. I don't even know. Crazy stuff. Follow that, you got the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, social injustice issues coming about and trying to revamp all of that. Followed by that, all of a sudden, professional sports are canceled. College sports are canceled. Right? What? There's no college football in some conferences, but not in others? How's that work? No idea. I'm not part of the decision-making process. Then we follow that with riots. And, you know, don't need to talk too much about that. Just crazy stuff going on with riots. I mean, cities getting destroyed because of rioting. Nuts. And now we have fires all over the West Coast. And we have some big ones in Colorado. There's huge ones in California. In fact, here's a picture. Just this week, there were like 200 people surrounded with fire, couldn't get out. There was no roads. They're all stuck in the middle. And the National Guard's ordered to not go back in. High winds, too dangerous. And you see how well the National Guard heroes followed orders. I hope they don't get in trouble for not following orders, because they're heroes. They went in and saved these people. They load up a helicopter full of people and dogs and pets and everything and fly them all out to safety. It's crazy. So, and you know, the courage to do that. I don't have it. I wish I did. I wish I was that brave of a person, but I can't imagine standing in front of that thing and not burning to death. And then for some of the poor people, they get to go back in and they see their washer and dryer standing there. I mean, it has been a nutty, nutty year. Now, why do I share all this with you? Aside from inventorying all the insanity, I share all this with you because to me, it all goes back to COVID. Right? All of this goes back to COVID and how this monster bug behind me, which is itty bitty, is going to end the world and we're all going to die. So much so we have to wear masks to prevent the spread and we can't go to school and we can't have sports. All this stuff. Now, it's mind-blowing to me how overwhelming this pandemic and all this other stuff has become. The reason why I share this is because as I sit here and I was thinking about this yesterday, you know, last night was the 19th anniversary of people going to bed, 3,000 some people going to bed with their families for the last time. Because this morning at 9 o'clock, 19 years ago, you had this take place. And I just look at that and I'm like, oh man, the imagery. I mean, how many of you remember exactly where you were around 9 a.m. 19 years ago? I know I do. It was a horrifying experience to watch, to see all this, the aftermath take place, and to see how it rocked our country. But what was really neat to see in the midst of all the loss, and no denying all the loss, was how we came together, how we rallied together. So I think about 18 years ago today. And all of a sudden, 18 years ago today, we're all rallied together in this rally cry of America and how we're going to overcome this challenge and how we're going to remember it. I share all this with you because if we could overcome the challenge of 19 years ago and get to celebrate it a year later, why can't we do the same with coronavirus and COVID? Why can't we do the same with the racial inequality concerns that people have? Why can't we do the same with all of the things going on? Why can't we come together as a country, as a world, right now? My advice to everybody as I sit here and think about all that's taken place, we need to come together. Go hug your neighbor. Don't start a fist fight with them. Hug your neighbor. Get to know your neighbor. Understand the differences. Learn from the differences. This is another thing that drives me batty. I'm going to monologue and soapbox for 2 seconds here. Why? Because I have differing political opinions from you. Can we not sit down and learn? Where's the middle ground? Why is it so polarizing? Why can't we come together again? So I want to walk off it for a moment and leave this image up and just let you sit here and ponder what you can do in your community with your circle of friends, how you can be the beacon of light to help all of us come back together and overcome all that we have, much like we did 19 years ago.